無益な戦いをするつもりはない。そのために得た力だ。
トルメンタル
ジャイアントスレシブロンブリーチブレイブソウルズ。
Alright, what is going on, you guys? This is your boy the Death Smasher, and welcome back to another Bleach Brave Souls video. And today I am going to be showing you guys how to beat the brand new Iceberg of Training Senkaimon Tower, which is going to be coming out by May 5th, and you guys will pretty much be able to do this tower for every month in which K-Lab decides to pretty much reset the actual tower until we get the brand new tower, which is basically going to be in like 2022 if K-Lab still keeps this game going, which I'm pretty sure they will, considering they are making good money out of this game. But anyways, before we go into the topic of the tower, what is Senkaimon Quests? Senkaimon Quests, for those of you guys that don't know and are pretty much new to the game, it's basically a tower in which you start off from one floor and go all the way up to floor 50, and for this type of game mode in and of itself, you need to have yourself a nice box of characters. Otherwise, you guys will not be able to pretty much do this floor because it does require you to have specific characters. It does require you to have alternatives in which you guys can use in case you can't beat the actual floor. And of course, this is basically a game mode made for veterans that have been playing for quite a while now, or even like have been playing for like a year and have a good number of characters in their actual inventory. But that being said, it is advised that you guys can actually do the Senkaimon quests because you do get yourself a lot of orbs. Like basically by just beating a standard Senkaimon Tower, it is 280 orbs, while beating the hard Senkaimon Tower, it's like 200 orbs, like almost 500 orbs, and you'll be able to pretty much easily get those 500 plus orbs should you also do the extra quests. Now that being said, because the Iceberg of Training is going to be the new normal Senkaimon Tower, it is going to be replacing Cave of Diligence, which is basically the Senkaimon Tower we did to get the Senkaimon Ichigos and whatnot. So when it comes to unlocking the extra floors, you guys need to move over to this one. And even then, it is good to move over to this one because you guys will also be able to get the chance to get the Senkaimon Tatsuki, which is basically a normal attack unit that has flurry, has poise, has a boost, and she has a lot of stuff going for her. She even has a great link of normal attack damage plus 20% with last ditch at 100%, and you'll be able to get a Tatsuki for every single attribute. So that's an extra 75 orbs in and of itself, is viable for PvP, and will just make your life a lot easier for when it comes to general PvE content, autoing in PvE, and also for guild quests, because it is normal attack damage plus 20% with last ditch. It is insane. It is actually insane. And it's free to play too. No guard break, but it's alright. Human killer. I mean, there's nothing you can really go wrong with this character. But that being said, let us go through the actual Senkaimon Tower. Now that being said, we don't know which floors are going to be locking your units, which is why, again, you need a big stash of characters to have in your actual character box. But I'm just going to be basing this off of the previous Senkaimon Towers, where we always had a preset number of stages where it would lock your units, which is normally stage 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 28, 30, 33, 38, 40, and from 41 to 50 is where it locks all of your units, which is why, again, this is mainly meant for people that have a big box of characters. But anyways, let us go ahead and truly begin with analyzing the tower. So stage 1, just use anyone, like there's no difficulty. These are the really easy floors, so you guys don't have to worry about anything whatsoever. Here, just use any mind unit. Here, just use any, you don't even need a no affiliation character, just use any easy 6-star character that you have. Here, just use anyone. Here, stage 5, good possibility that it's actually going to lock a unit. So you want to just basically go out of your way to using a Heart Holo unit, and honestly just use the one that you have that is the weakest. Like, for example, this Aizen is not even too great, so you can just go ahead and use that, or just use any OG heart unit that is basically very outdated that you don't even need to use, so that way you can keep your best units for the latter floors. Stage 6, just use any type of Power Soul Reaper unit, like, that's all you really need to do. Stage 7, use any Heart Attribute Soul Reaper unit, like, you don't even need the No Affiliation Killer. These are the easy floors, alright? Like, that's all you guys need to know. Stage 8, Mind Attribute damage times 2, Arrancar Affiliation damage times 3. Just use an Arrancar unit that is a Mind character, or if not, just use any Mind unit, and there you go. Stage 9, Speed Attribute damage times 2, Killer Effect times 5. Use any Speed unit. Now, Stage 10, good possibility that it's going to lock a unit. So here it's Technique Attribute damage times 2 with Soul Reaper Affiliation damage times 3. So just use any OG tech unit that you actually have in your box, whichever is your oldest one. Like, for example, you guys can pretty much go out of your way to using the likes of this Rengoku right here, who is pretty much outdated and is not even usable. I mean, sure, she's okay, she's usable, but the second Frontech just holds her back, just to use as an example. Stage 11, Knockback, Killer Effect times 2, No Affiliation damage times 2. Now here, you can use basically any No Affiliation unit and get the job done just fine, or you can opt to use a Power Soul Reaper killer. This is not going to seal any unit whatsoever. Stage 12, Quincy Affiliation damage times 2, Killer Effect times 5. This is obviously going to be the floor dedicated to Masaki, but even then, you can just use any type of heart unit just fine and be able to cleave through just fine, and you don't really need the killer to make up for it, nor the actual Quincy character. And if you are in need of a Quincy and you're lacking accessories, you can still use the likes of the Heart Uryu. So yeah, Stage 13, Speed Attribute damage times 2, Soul Reaper Affiliation damage times 2. Here, you just want to use a Speed Soul Reaper killer, like that's all you really need to do, or if not, just any speed unit whatsoever that is a Soul Reaper unit, and there you go. Killer Effect times 2, Captain Affiliation damage times 2. Just use any type of Mind unit that is a captain, and you'll get the job done relatively easy without the killer. And yeah, Stage 15, good chance it's going to lock a unit. So Technique Attribute damage times 2, Killer Effect times 5. So you're gonna want to opt to use for an Arrancar killer. So just use any type of Arrancar killer that you have in your actual box. Maybe not a Power Arrancar killer, otherwise it is going to make things a bit difficult against the final boss. But any Arrancar killer will pretty much be able to do the job fine, or even just any tech unit that has any type of killer, really. You just want to seal your weakest unit. Stage 16, Mind Attribute damage times 2, Soul Reaper Affiliation damage times 2. Here, it's making you want to use Sode no Shirayuki, but don't worry guys, you can just use a Mind Soul Reaper unit, and you'll be able to get the job done just fine, and it's not going to seal any unit. Stage 17, Speed Attribute damage times 3, Kill Effect times 3. It's basically against Power Hollow, so you want to use a Speed Hollow killer. Like, that's all you gotta really do. And if you don't have a Speed Hollow killer, then just go for like any speed character whatsoever, or even any Hollow killer that is not a tech character. Otherwise, you're gonna have a bit of a rough time. And right here we have Stage 18, Technique Attribute damage times 2, Soul Reaper Affiliation damage times 2, Tech Arrancar killer. Nothing that really needs to be said here. It's not going to seal your unit, so just use anyone. Stage 19, Soul Reaper Affiliation damage times 3, Killer Effect times 2. You're going to want to opt for a Heart Hollow killer, and if you don't have that, just use any Heart unit that is a Soul Reaper, and there you go. Stage 20, good chance it is actually going to seal away a unit, and here, it's making you use a Power No Affiliation killer. So here, you may want to, out of all these three characters, you want to seal this Yoruichi right here, because she's the worst out of all the no affiliation killers that we have in the game for power, and the fact that she can push back on her strong attacks will pretty much make you be able to clear the floor at ease. And if you guys don't happen to have a no affiliation killer, then you can just go for whatever power unit that you guys want. Like Dordoni will still be able to clear it just fine. Like, you can even use the likes of Halloween Grimmjow, just to pretty much put out as an example. Just use any power character, really. Stage 21, Mind Attribute damage times 2, Soul Reaper Affiliation damage times 2. just use any Mind Holo Killer. There's not really much that you need to pretty much go on about this floor, really. Stage 22, Heart Attribute Damage times 3, Squad 0 Affiliation Damage times 3. So basically this is the Senjumaru floor, but if you don't have the likes of Senjumaru, you can just basically use any Heart Aranka Killer and you'll be able to get the job done just fine. You don't need a Squad 0 unit in particular. And if you do, then you can even just use the likes of, per se, Tenjiro, Kiryu, Ichibe, just saying. And then stage 23, Technique Attribute Damage times 2, Espada Affiliation Damage times 3. You want to basically, well, the perfect unit for this one is going to be Cacao Society, Hallibel, and Grimjow. So you want to basically use these units to clear the floor, and even then, should you guys not happen to have the unit, you can always opt for any Tech Holo Killer, and you'll be able to get the job done just fine, and yeah, easier done than said, really. Stage 24, Power Attribute Damage times 2, Killer Effect times 5, Holo Affiliation Damage times 5. You want to basically use a Soul Reaper Killer that happens to pretty much be a Holo. Obviously, the best ones are going to be Shinji and White Ichigo, but should you guys not happen to have them, just use any Power Holo unit. Like, for example, Power Aizen will be able to shred through just fine, or even a Soul Reaper Killer. Like, it's not completely relegated to Holos only. Stage 25, good chance it is going to seal away a unit. Aranka Affiliation only, Speed Attribute Damage times 3, and Killer Effect times 8. So this floor is perfect for the likes of Speed Hallibel, Canfion Baragon, Halloween Lilinet, and whatnot. So you guys want to basically be able to use these characters. And if you guys should not happen to have the units, just use any Aranka unit that has the Aranka Killer. Or you can just opt for a Speed Aranka unit. Like, you can opt for the likes of Machine Society Ulquiorra and get the job done just fine. Canfion World Aroniero, Charlotte Coolhorn, Xmas Neliel, or just any Aranka with the Aranka Killer. Even the Mind Neliel and the Fierce Battle Ulquiorra will be able to do the floor just fine. Just don't run a Tech Aranka with Aranka Killer. Otherwise, you will have attribute disadvantage and you will not be able to deal enough damage to kill the boss. Stage 26, Heart Attribute Damage times 2, Espada Affiliation Damage times 3. Obviously, it's going to be making you use an Espada that is a Heart unit and actually has Holo Killer. You guys can use the likes of Lupi, Hallibel, and Yami, or you can just basically go about it and just use any Heart unit that has a Holo Killer, or just use any Espada unit, really. Like, there's nothing else that needs to be said. Stage 27, on the other hand, it's going to make you use a Speed, no Affiliation Killer. So you guys can pretty much opt to use Quincy Ichigo, Kisuke, Redux Toshiro, and this White Ichigo right here. But if you guys don't happen to have any Speed, no Affiliation Killer, you guys can opt to go for either a full-on Speed character that happens to be your best one, or you can go for any no Affiliation Killer that doesn't happen to be Tech. Like, you guys can get the job done just fine. Stage 28, very good possibility it is going to seal away your unit, so be wary of that. Freeze, ranged resistance, so you guys will not be able to use any ranged characters whatsoever. Power Attribute Damage times 2, and Captain Affiliation Damage times 2, and it's against Tech Arankas. So here, you want to basically be able to use the likes of 1000-Year Blower Rukia, this Machine Society Toshiro, and obviously, well, I mean, not really. You guys can actually opt to go for this Tag Team Byakuya, and even then, if you guys don't happen to have a Captain unit with the Aranka Killer, you guys can opt for any melee Captain unit that is an SP-based character and is melee. Like, you can still use the likes of Bankai Shinji. You guys can still use the likes of Canfion World Shunsui. Even 1000-Year Blower Renji will get the job done just fine. Like, or even you can just go for a normal captain with the Aranka Killer that doesn't happen to be a speed character, and you'll be able to do it just fine. And stage 29, don't worry about it, it's not going to seal away any character. Killer Effect times 5, Aranka Affiliation Damage times 2. It is going to be making you use a Tech Holo Killer that is an Aranka, so you'll have the choice between the best ones being Fierce Battle Grimjow, this Sun Sun, and yeah, those are the best ones. But if you guys don't happen to have any of the units, just use any Aranka unit that is a Tech character, or just use any Holo Killer that doesn't happen to be a power character. Stage 30, good possibility it is going to seal away a unit, but here is what you need. Killer effect times 10, human affiliation damage times 3, Quincy affiliation damage reduced, and it's making you use the likes of Fierce Battle Chad. Now, a lot of us will not have this Chad, and because it actually does seal away your unit, you guys can't even use the likes of Candace, so it is going to be quite the messy floor, but honestly speaking, you guys can still be able to beat this floor if you can just use any human unit that has a Ronker Killer. Like, hold on, who else is a human unit that has a Ronker Killer? Like, you guys can use the likes of the Speed Baruka. You guys can use the Tech Ginjo. Or even then, just use any other Mind Human, like this Mind Ginjo or Aura, and you'll be able to get the job done just fine. But I'd save Aura for floor 50 because that is the floor in which you kind of do need her for. And then hard, well, obviously, you guys can just opt for any Ronker Killer. Like, heck, even Fierce Battle Kisuke will still be able to clear through just fine. So you don't need Fierce Battle Chad, so don't worry about it, lads. Don't worry. Stage 31 is going to be Technique Attribute damage times 2, Captain Affiliation damage times 2, and the boss is a no affiliation character, and of course all the enemies are no affiliation. So obviously here you want to use a Tech no affiliation killer, and Yama is perfect for this floor, but not everyone has Yama. Now you can also use Nini for this floor should you guys not happen to have Yama, but also there are other options for you to use. Just use any Technique character that is a captain, and you'll be able to get the job done just fine. Like, you can even use Canfear Nord Kenpachi, you can even use TLA Soifun, you can even use 1000-Year Blower Byakuya if you guys so want to. But yeah, moving on. Stage 32, melee resistance, power attribute damage times 2, killer effect times 3, Quincy affiliation damage times 3. Okay, so this floor is going to actually make you use the likes of Lie and Ryuken. So those are going to be the best units to run for. But if you guys don't even happen to have the units, you can even use the likes of Spirit Society, Byakuya, and Hikone, and you'll be able to get the job done just fine. And even then, and if you don't even happen to have the units, even Tag Team Yamamoto, who is spammed in the premium pool, you can just basically use them just fine, or just use any power unit in general and you'll be able to get the job done just fine. It's not going to seal any unit whatsoever. But this next one will, on the other hand. Holo affiliation only, heart attribute damage times 2, killer effect times 5, Soul Reaper affiliation damage times 2. It's going to make you use a heart holo with holo killer. So this one is obviously going to be perfect for the new Spirit Society Lisa. Now, I myself do not have this character. Now, am I going to have a hard time with this? No, because sure, this is holo only, so my choices in using characters is going to be very restrictive, but at the end of the day, as long as I use a holo unit with the holo killer, that's all that really matters, because guess what? There are other heart holos that you can use, like you can use the likes of the Machine Society Mashiro, as an example, the Senkaimon Aizen. Or, guess what? You guys can actually opt to go for the likes of Hachigen, Hiyori, Lisa, and the Power Aizen, and you guys will still be able to get the job done just fine, even without the Spirit Society Lisa. Of course, you may need to invest some Transcendence, like level 5 SP, but you'll be able to get the floor done just fine. So, yeah, and because the boss is a mind character, you're not gonna struggle with typing disadvantage. Killer effect times 8, no affiliation damage times 2. Now this floor is dedicated to the Can't Fear Your Own World Tsukishima. So how are you guys going to be able to beat it if you guys don't have Tsukishima? Well, you guys can opt for other no affiliation characters that are speed, like Quincy Ichigo, Seinosuke, the new Dark Rukia, Kokuto. Or you can basically opt for any type of speed unit that has Transcendence and will be able to get the job done just fine, or any other no affiliation character. Now here you may need Transcendence if you guys do not have Tsukishima. I do see this floor being somewhat difficult, but just be sure to have a speed unit ready that actually has level 10 SP and focus, and you'll be able to clear it just fine. And then stage 35, melee resistance, killer effect times 8, Soul Reaper affiliation damage times 2, damage from attribute advantage enemies halved. Here it's going to make you use a Quincy killer. and it's basically going to be dedicated to Sodeno Shirayuki. Now, of course, not everyone will have the character, but honestly speaking, if you guys have any mind ranged character that is a Soul Reaper unit, you guys can still get the job done just fine. Fierce Battle Kisuke exists for a reason, so you guys can actually use them. There's also this 1000-year blower Izuru as well, Koga. Like, just use any Mind Soul Reaper unit that happens to be transcended with level 10 SP or level 10 attack, and you'll be able to get the job done just fine. And I think Fierce Battle Kisuke is going to be the best one if you guys don't happen to have Sodeno Shirayuki. Heck, even I don't have her, so I'm definitely going to have to use Kisuke on this one. Stage 36, speed attribute damage times 2, Aronker affiliation damage times 3. Here, it's going to make you use an Aronker unit with the Holo Killer. So obviously, the best one is obviously going to be the Machine Society Ulquiorra, Christmas Neliel, and Charlotte. And if you guys don't happen to have the unit, guess what? You guys can use any speed Holo Killer. Any speed Holo Killer will be able to get the job done just fine. Or just use any speed Aronker unit and you'll be able to get the job done just fine. Like Canfion Road Aroniero, Canfion Road Baragon, Halloween Lilinet. It's alright. Like, this is an easy floor compared to the Tsukishima floor. Stage 37, Killer Effect times 3, Soul Reaper affiliation damage times 2, Captain affiliation damage reduced, so you guys will not be able to use captains, unfortunately. But that being said, this is an Espada killing floor, or an Aronker killing floor. So, like, unfortunately, you cannot use 1000-year blower sword form. Very, very, very unfortunate, but however, we still have plenty of Aronker killers that we can use, like Shuhei, Senjumaru, Ishin, Tag Team Izuru, Tag Team Renji. There's a lot of good units that you can use. It's more suited for 1000-year blower and Nanao in order to get the floor done just fine. And even then, if you guys don't happen to have an Aronker killer, well, guess what? You guys can opt for any other Aronker killer that is not heart-based and get the job done just fine. Or better yet, just go for any Heart Soul Reaper and you'll get the job done just fine. Stage 38, very good possibility it's going to seal away a unit. Freeze, melee resistance, killer effect times 5, Soul Reaper affiliation damage times 3. Okay, so here, it's going to make you use a ranged tech Holo Killer. So here, the best ones to pretty much go about it, well, fortunately, we have a good selection because we have the likes of Senbon Zakuro, Machine Society Nemu, Fierce Battle Aizen, the Tech Rukia, and yeah. And if you guys don't happen to have any of these units, well, guess what? You can just opt to go for any ranged tech Soul Reaper unit and you'll still be able to clear the floor just fine. Or just go for any ranged Holo Killer that is not a power character and you'll be able to clear it just fine. And yeah, that's all. That's all that really needs to be said. It's an easy clear. That being said, it is going to lock a unit. Stage 39, melee resistance, power attribute damage times 2, killer effect times 5, Aronker affiliation damage times 2. Here, it's basically going to be the Fierce Battle Zalapado floor. Now, obviously, nobody is going to have Zalapado at this point in time until he starts coming back very often as a filler in a lot of banners. So what is the best possible way to go about this? Well, literally, just use any power Aronker unit. Now, unfortunately, you cannot use any of the melee ones, so you're gonna have to opt for the ranged ones. So, Canfion Neliel and Fierce Battle Ulquiorra are easily the best ones to go about it if you guys don't happen to actually have any ranged Aronker unit. And even then, you don't necessarily need an Aronker unit because it doesn't relegate you to only using Aronker units. So, let's just say you happen to have Lilebato, transcended with SP10 and possibly Focus 10, you guys will have a decent shot at pretty much be able to clear the stage just fine. Now, sure, it's going to take a bit more time, but it'll be doable regardless. So, fortunately, this isn't an easy Senkaimon Tower, and it's not a hard one. And then stage 40. Now, from here on out, from stage 40 and onwards, it's going to seal every single one of your units. And this is where you're actually going to be going ham on and basically using your best characters to clear every single floor up until stage 50. Now here, Aronker affiliation damage times 2, Espada affiliation damage reduced, and killer effect times 5. Now here, it's actually going to make you use this Fierce Battle Edurad right here. Now, obviously, not everyone will have Edurad. So what are the other units that you guys can opt for? You guys can opt for any type of Mind or Ronker unit that is not an Espada. Now, fortunately for us, this is not completely going to relegate us to using Ronkers only. So if you guys don't happen to have the Mind Neliel or the Oriental Society Neliel or even this Can't Fear Your Own World Siruchi, you guys can also use any human killer. Like for example, you can use the likes of the Heart Human Killer Retsu, you can even use New Year's Mayuri, you can even use Swimsuit Orihime, and you'll be able to get the job done regardless. And obviously, you can also use the Senkaimon Tatsuki just fine, really. Now the next floor is going to be stage 41, Killer Effect times 5, Holo Affiliation damage times 3, Knockback. Here it's just going to be basically letting you use a Heart Holo unit that has the Oranker Killer. Obviously the best one to use is going to be this Machine Society Mashiro, but if you guys don't happen to have Mashiro, fortunately it's not going to relegate you to using Holo units, so just use any Heart Oranker Killer. Any Heart Oranker Killer and you'll be able to get the job done just fine with ease, or even any Heart Holo unit and you'll be able to just clear the floor just fine, really. And then stage 42, Mind Attribute damage times 3, Oranker Affiliation damage times 3. It's going to make you use an Oranker with the Soul Reaper Killer. Now, fortunately, there are a good amount of Soul Reaper Killers that are Mind-based Orankers, like Segunda Tapo Ukiora, Baragan, Can't Fear Your Own World Zalaparo, Neliel, Siruchi, and even if you guys don't happen to have the units, just use any Mind Soul Reaper Killer, or even any Mind Oranker unit, and you'll be able to get the job done just fine. Even Can't Fear Your Own World Noitora will be able to do it just fine. Even Can't Fear Your Own World Helibel, the Mind one right here, will be able to cleave through just fine. Stage 43, Normal Tech Disabling Traps, so you can't use Normal Tech characters in here. Technique Attribute damage times 2, Killer Effect times 3, Captain Affiliation damage times 2. Now here is basically going to be the Can't Fear Your Own World Mayuri floor. So obviously, your best characters to use are going to be Espada killers. Now the best ones to use are obviously going to be Can't Fear Your Own World Mayuri, TLA Soifun, 1000-Year Blower Byakuya to an extent, and Tag Team Toshiro. Now there are normal tech disabling traps. We don't know if we can actually enable our normal techs upon destroying the traps, which I'm assuming we'll be able to do so because this is a boss rush floor. But other than that, I do not recommend going for the NAD-based characters like Can't Fear No Kenpachi. Otherwise, it's just going to be slowing down the floor and you'll just have a hard time trying to clear through. And even then, if you guys don't happen to have any type of tech Espada killer or any tech Oranker killer, you guys can still go ahead and opt for any tech Captain SP based unit just fine, because at the end of the day, we still have 1000-Year Blower Tech Yamamoto, who still exists. We have Fierce Battle Aizen, who still exists. We even have, well, Shunsui, as an example. Or just go for any other Oranker killer, and there you go. Really. As long as they're not power-based characters. And then stage 44, Killer Effect times 8, no affiliation damage times 2. Now, this floor right here is actually going to make you use Can't Fear Your Own World Ginjo. Now, Ginjo, unfortunately, is not available to summon right now, and we don't know when Ginjo is going to be coming back with Tsukishima and Mayuri, but even then, you guys can still opt to go for any Oranker killer. Like, you guys can just use any power Oranker killer to your liking, like 5th Anniversary Ichigo, 1000-Year Blower Rukia, and if you guys can't even do that, then just go for any type of no affiliation character. Like, you guys can opt for Can't Fear Your Own World Hikonin. You guys can use Nini or the Oriental Society Kukaku. Like, you guys have options to pretty much go about it with this floor. And yeah. Next stage is stage 45. Speed Attribute damage times 2, Kill Effect times 2, Holo Affiliation damage times 2. Here it's going to make you use the new White Ichigo. Now, if you guys don't have White Ichigo, like me, you guys can still use all the other speed, no affiliation killers, because it's not going to relegate you to just using holos like Redux Toshiro, Can't Fear No Kisuke, Quincy Ichigo. Like, those units will be able to go through just fine. And heck, you can even use the likes of the Speed Hachigen, who is a speed holo unit, and you'll still be able to clear the floor just fine, just like that. Or just opt to go for any type of no affiliation killer that doesn't happen to be a tech-based character. Like, that's literally another way you can go about it. Now here, stage 46 is where it does get tough because these are the final floors, and if you guys beat the floors under a minute, you'll be able to have access to the extra stages. So stage 46, melee resistance, killer effect times 8, no affiliation damage times 3. Here, it's going to let you use the new Dark Rukia, because Dark Rukia is a speed no affiliation unit with the Soul Reaper killer, and if you guys don't even happen to have this Dark Rukia like me, you guys can still opt to go for a ranged Soul Reaper killer like the 5th anniversary Byakuya, and you can still use the likes of Noelle, Seinosuke, Quincy, Ichigo. You can even use Tokinada in here, Hikone. Like, you guys have good options to go for, and you guys should still be able to beat it under a minute, especially with Tokinada. Like, he's a beast for this one, I'm not gonna lie. And next floor, stage 47, technique, attribute damage times 2, normal attack, disabling traps, killer effect times 5, holo affiliation damage times 3. This is going to let you use the Spirit Society Shinji, but if you guys don't have Spirit Society Shinji, Flyzen is obviously going to be your best go-to character. And it's funny because mine's max transcended, so I'll be able to cleave through just fine and I don't need Shinji. But even then, if you guys don't have any tech holo unit with the Soul Reaper killer, you guys can just basically opt to go for any tech Soul Reaper killer in general, as long as it's an SP based character. Like, you can still use the likes of the new Kusaka, you can use Gina Nizuru, Tech Team Toshiro. You can use Oetsu, but do keep in mind that there are the normal tag disabling traps. We don't know if we'll be able to disable them. I'm assuming we can, but we don't know. So, as an extra precaution, do take SP-based characters, as it's basically going to pretty much ease you through the grind of going through the Heart Tower. So yeah, obviously I do not recommend using any type of Power Soul Reaper killer. That's the best option I can pretty much give out to you guys. Next floor, stage 48, Espada affiliation only, heart attribute damage times 3, killer effect times 8. Now here is where it's going to be even more difficult because it's going to relegate you into using Espadas. So here, the best one to use is Fierce Battle Noitora, because he is the only heart Espada that has the no affiliation killer. And if you guys don't happen to have that, well, fortunately we do have options, because we can still use the likes of Anniversary Okio. Why is Anniversary Okio on heart? That makes no sense, because he's a no affiliation killer with the Espada affiliation. That makes no sense. You can still use the likes of the Can't Fear Unrolled Gremjow, Yami, the other Espadas and whatnot. Like, just use any heart Espada and you'll be able to get the job done just fine, even without killer. But if you guys need a killer, you guys still have options like Can't Fear Unrolled Loopy, Spirit Society Grimjow, and Anniversary Ulquiorra, and yeah, you guys will still be able to clear the floor just fine. Stage 49, power attribute damage times 2, no affiliation damage times 3. Now this floor is basically the Kokuto floor, and if you guys don't have Kokuto, well, fortunately for you guys, it's not relegated to no affiliation character, so you can just basically use any power holo killer that is max transcended or with a level 10 SP and level 10 focus, and you'll be able to clear it just fine. Like 5th anniversary Ichigo, the Machine Society Yoruichi. You can just go about it any way you can, or you can even opt to use a power no affiliation unit like the Can't Fear Your Own World Ginjo and the Can't Fear Your Own World Hikone. Heck, even Power Aizen is perfectly viable for this floor. Like, you guys can pretty much go about it any way you can, because it's not a hard floor. Stage 50, the final floor. Fortunately for you guys, this does not require a limited unit. Well, technically yes and no, but not 100% exactly, because this is killer effect times 8, human affiliation damage times 2, Quincy affiliation damage reduced. But here, guess what? You can use the no affiliation mind human characters. So you can use Tsukishima and Aura. And obviously, Tsukishima is going to be your best bet to go about it, because this guy has been spammed everywhere for when it comes to banners. I'm sure most of you guys will have him with a couple dupes here and there, so obviously he's going to be the best one to go about it. Heck, even Aura is perfectly usable with her very trash kit that she has. And if you guys somewhat don't have the units, especially Tsukishima, you guys can still opt to go for any mind human unit. Like, for example, you guys can use the Senkaimon Ichigo, you can use Ginjo, you can use Fierce Battle Chad, Christmas Ruruka. Heck, even Halloween Ruruka is perfectly viable just because of the fact that she is a human unit with the no affiliation killer, so you can use her as a very nice option and whatnot. Heck, even Noel is perfectly usable, so hey, there are good options for this floor, fortunately. And that basically concludes the actual video on how to beat the Iceberg of training. Other than that, it is requiring you a lot more limited units and a lot of new premium characters, which most of us will pretty much have already skipped out by now. Like, I'm pretty sure most of you guys will not even have most of the units. Like, heck, even I will not have most of the units, but I have the confidence in being able to beat it because my account is stacked to the point that I actually have characters transcended. I have the alternatives to go about it, so this tower is not going to stop me from beating it. So yeah, that basically concludes the video. Now, did you guys find this guide helpful? If you guys did, let me know in the comment section below, and let me know if you guys do want me to bring about more guides on my actual YouTube channel. So yeah, if you guys enjoyed this video, don't forget to smash that like button, share this video with your friends and family, subscribe to the channel if you guys haven't already, and hit the bell notification so that way you guys are up to date with my most recent videos. And in the description below, you guys will have the option to follow me on Twitter and also join the Discord server, so if you guys want to do that, feel free to do so. This has been your boy, the Death Smasher, and I will see you guys all in the next videos. Peace out. Do expect a good amount of Max Transcended 2020 showcases to come out in the near future. Bye guys, peace out.